The new look Sixers with James Harden have been playing pretty phenomenal so far. In the first 3 games that James Harden has appeared for Philadelphia, they've won all 3 of them. The first one being against the Timberwolves, and the last 2 being against the Knicks. And all 3 wins came in convincing fashion. And it's really kind of put Philadelphia in a situation where the expectation for the team is rising now that James Harden has paired up with Joel Embiid, and both of those players have been playing phenomenal since they've linked up after the trade between Brooklyn and Philadelphia took place. Now, Kevin, to kick this one to you, with the 76ers winning their first 3 games with James Harden in the fold for Philly, do you think it is premature to hop on the 76ers bandwagon, or do you think it's justified at this current moment in time?
I find this to be hysterical. Now, here's why. Any other team in the league that goes on a win streak, 2 games, 5 games, 10 games, whatever, you look at who they've beaten. You look at the opponents that they have faced. You go about and you say, you know what, is this a justified win streak, or have they had a fluffed up favorable schedule? The 2 teams that the Sixers have beat are the Knicks twice and the Timberwolves, in which they blew the Timberwolves out by damn near 30 points. Are we really going to sit here and get excited because James Harden cooked one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference in the New York Knicks? Are we going to get excited that James Harden beat one of the worst NBA franchises over the last decade that are suddenly now relevant at the 7th seed in the Western Conference, who have played a little bit better, so I will give Minnesota a little bit more credit. But we're really jumping on a bandwagon. We're really getting animated and excited. The Sixers are here. Yo, the Sixers are real. The Sixers are coming for the Eastern Conference title. The Sixers are going to the finals. The narratives I've been hearing are comical, and I get it. Everybody knows that I don't like James Harden. But we're sitting here getting excited talking about James and Embiid cooking these players. Who the fuck is guarding them? Who's James Harden matching up against in Minnesota? D'Angelo Russell? Who the hell is Joel Embiid matching up? Karl Anthony Towns? We know he's soft defensively. He likes to talk a lot of shit, but we know he's soft. And then the Knicks? Who the fuck is guarding James Harden on the Knicks? R.J. Barrett. Okay, a favorable defender, but as an organization, ain't nobody guarding them. You're going to set screens. You're going to set mismatches. You're going to create advantages. James Harden has been cooking garbage. The Sixers have beat garbage. And we're sitting here talking about they're going to the finals. James Harden has an incredible stat line over the last 3 games, damn near averaging a triple-double in 3 games. I would hope so when you beat I keep forgetting it's 2 teams in 3 games. I would hope you blow the Knicks out twice. I would hope you slap up the fucking Timberwolves. Bro, I have had enough of Sixers fans coming at me telling me that I'm crazy for getting all down and on the dumps and being negative about the Harden trade. Bro, you will see when James goes on that internal tear and that anchor weighing fucking drama that, oh, the Sixers are down, they lost 2 games, or Joel Embiid is asking for more touches. James Harden has 6 turnovers in a playoff game. You are going to see, and I continue to say this to everybody I've talked to about this subject, Tobias Harris is not trash. Tobias Harris is not being utilized correctly because we all know last season he was averaging damn near 20 points a game. And when he needed to, there were games where he scored 30. You give him shots, he puts up points. He's a scorer. He's a rebounder. He's a solid defender. And you're going to look at me and say, Toby is trash. How many shots a game has he been getting since James has gotten there? I want someone to tell me. Like, you look at the stat line. If he's giving you 9 points on 6 shots, what the fuck do you expect him to do? He's become a third fiddle to, obviously, Joel Embiid, now James Harden. So technically he's supposed to be the third option. But we're looking at Tyrese Maxey as a third option now. So Toby on a max contract is now fourth? You're not even utilizing one of your best players. Is he in a slump? Yeah. But people that aren't performing well are not getting opportunities and looks. Of course they're going to fall into a slump. Come on, man. Sixers fans make me laugh, bro. That's all I'm going to say about it. Let's relax. Let's pump these brakes. There's a lot of fucking season left to go. And until you beat somebody competitive, I don't want to hear no fucking Sixers to the finals bullshit. Go beat somebody good.
Well, Kevin, you've mentioned this when we're not recording. You think that the 76ers are in this honeymoon phase with James Harden because, brand new team, they're playing very well, and they're essentially smoking the competition that they're going up against. Now, here's how I'll make my point about the 76ers. I think it's too early to hop on this 76ers bandwagon, but I have to be honest. They have definitely caught my attention. And I think that this hype that the 76ers are currently experiencing, I think it's something to take of note, but not to get overly excited about. It's like you mentioned, Kev. When they beat the Timberwolves and they beat the Knicks, they did it in convincing fashion. But the Knicks and the Timberwolves, I wouldn't necessarily consider like top tier talent as far as which teams the 76ers are going to play down the stretch. I think when you look at the 76ers as a whole, I think they're definitely a more competitive team now than what they were prior to this trade with Brooklyn. I think James Harden, I think that he's a little bit more focused with Philly than he was with Brooklyn. And it does kind of show because I've been watching some of his post-game press conferences after these games when he's played for the 76ers, and he definitely seems a little bit more focused. There doesn't seem to be a lot of drama associated with James so far, and Joel has been playing very solid basketball with James in the fold, and it really does kind of seem at this point that they are complementing each other well at this current moment in time. Now, we have to see how this team is performing when they hit a skid, because it's not going to be all unicorns and rainbows with the 76ers, because there will be games that they will lose. And we have to see how this team responds if they do happen to get into a slump towards the end of the season. Because I'm not going to take much stock in 3 wins over 2 subpar to maybe average teams. Now, if they continue to win 6, 7, 8 games in a row and they beat top tier talent, then it might get to a point where I'm like, okay, I have to take stock of the 76ers hype train, because then at that point, they've at least shown me enough to work off of to say, this is definitely something to consider. They may be a legitimate force in the Eastern Conference. As of right now, I can't really say that. And to kind of make a point that you were kind of making earlier with the 76ers fans, there were some 76ers fans that were essentially comparing Joel Embiid and James Harden to Kobe and Shaq. I think that's outright disrespectful, because first of all, they've played 3 games together, Joel and James. Kobe and Shaq won 3 titles together. And they went to 4 NBA finals in that stretch from 2000 to 2004, 2005. Like, those two, it's probably one of the best 1-2 punches that we've ever seen in NBA history. Now, Joel and James, they're kind of in that early stage of, well, we'll see what happens. But I'm not going to say that they're the best thing as far as a 1-2 punch since Kobe and Shaq. That's just outright crazy. I don't want to hear anything about that. But, Kevin, I'm not going to be as critical towards this hype that the 76ers are currently experiencing. I think it's something of note for me personally. But for me, I'm not going to go, head over heels with it. And I think at this current moment in time, it looks to be off to a good start. I have to say that. But to think that this team is instantly going to go to the NBA Finals, or they're going to win the Eastern Conference crown when it's all said and done, I think it's a little bit premature to say that. But I have to say, they're off to a good start, and I'll just leave it at that.